Hey everyone, it's Aesah, and welcome to my video on gold cost power evaluation. This is a simple but important framework on how to evaluate what units to itemize on your board. Sometimes you might have a 1-star 4 cost or a 2-star 1 cost and you're not really sure what to put items on. It simply means that the power is generally going to be tied to how much gold it costs. Now there are some exceptions, which I highlighted in red, but in general, top to bottom are going to be the strongest units to the weakest units. 3-star 3 costs the most gold. It costs 27 gold total. It's also very hard to get. Just obviously finding 9 copies means that you also have to spend a lot of gold rolling on top of actually buying the units. However, we're only looking at the unit cost. And the only exceptions I would say are the 2-star 5 cost compared to the 3-star 2 cost. This is where the 2-star 5 cost actually costs a little bit less gold, but because you're usually not able to get these until stage 5, you're usually not able to get these until level 9 in almost any game. Obviously, you can high roll them earlier, but you generally need to be level 9, so this normally won't happen until stage 5, whereas 3-star 2 costs you can get by 4-1, pretty common in set 14. So, due to the ease of how easy this one is to get, it's not like super easy, but compared to this one, it's a little easier. That's why they're flipped. Same thing going down here, 1-star 5 cost compared to 2-star 2 cost. 2-star 2 cost, you can high roll as early as stage 2. Getting one by stage 3 is not unusual at all, even naturally without rolling. Whereas a 1-star 5 cost, you're generally not going to see it until stage 4. Obviously, you can high roll one earlier, but you usually won't see these until stage 4, so despite costing 5 gold, which is of course less than 6 gold, it's generally going to be stronger than 2-star 2 cost. I will note that these are even like pretty close in power. If we just look at like the list of the units, for example, if we have like an Urgot 1 compared to a Jhin 2, which one should we itemize? So if we follow the chart, Urgot 1 on average is going to be better, but it will depend on your traits active and your exact items, because of course they will have different best in slot items. Frontliners, kind of similar idea here. Um, Maybe we have a Kobuko compared to a Darius 2. So Kobuko is going to generally be better, but once again, it could depend on your items or traits. So other than that, you can generally use this as a pretty solid rule of thumb. And the cost of ties, like both of these are 9 gold, both of these are 3 gold, you can kind of think about what's harder to get. So for example, in this example, a 3-star 1 cost, because you have to find 9 copies, compared to a 2-star 3 cost, you'll need to find 3 copies. You're generally going to have to spend more gold rolling, so even though this costs the same amount, it wins out on the tie here. Same thing down here, finding a 1-star 3 cost is generally pretty easy compared to a 2-star 1 cost, which is not too hard at all, but a little bit harder, so the 2-star 1 cost wins out here. Once you get to 4 cost, again, you're generally not finding these, at least not the one you're looking for until stage 4. So again, it also costs more gold. So as long as you kind of just think about how much gold your unit costs, this might help you in future games where you're not sure what unit to put items on or activate synergies for. Uh, just remember, think about how much gold the unit costs, not counting rolls, and prioritize that unit. One more thing I want to add is when you get done with a game of team fight tactics, and a lot of times people are like, "Oh wow, I can't believe I lost to this board." A really good thing to look at is the overall gold cost of a board. It's not always going to be super. It's not always going to be like the most indicative because, for example, like I might take econ augments in order to make my board really expensive. I might lose to someone who has no econ augments, but has 3 combat augments. But in general, the gold cost of a board is going to be a pretty good indication of how strong that board is. That game was actually kind of a weird example where everyone's board was really cheap. But if you look at this going from bottom to top, it looks like I have the most expensive board. I went first. Second place has the second most expensive board by a decent margin. Went second. And then third place actually has a pretty cheap board, but maybe they had like combat augments to make up for it. Uh, but overall, you can see like the last place has the cheapest board in the game. So in general, most games are going to kind of follow this trend, but you really need to see like augments and just other things to for example, I have Cypher Cash Out, which may or may not be represented in this gold value. For example, if you get cashed out all items, that won't be represented here. But in general, it's a good thing to look at. That's going to wrap it up on this video for gold cost strength evaluation. If you have any comments or questions, let me know in the Discord, and thanks for watching.